Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Today we're going to work on something we haven't worked on in a while, which is SaturnCI, my CI platform. Um, and by the way, now that my book is done, it came out publicly yesterday, October 22nd, 2024. Now that that's out, I asked myself, what am I going to do with my life now that that project is, at least for the moment, done? Um, and I decided I think I'm going to take a swing at Saturn CI. I'm going to swing for the fences and take a go at making a real viable business out of it.
Sweet.
Um, and I made this decision well this week. So we're going to work on that. And I will share my screen. So that's not what I wanted. Here we go. Okay. So right now, the thing is happening that never works when I'm on Zoom calls, which is I'm deploying to production. And it usually doesn't work. I think because of bandwidth issues, it just gets stuck at this upload stage. But it looks like for whatever reason, it might end up working out this time. Um, but anyway, oh yeah, and I wanted to show you guys. This is just purely bragging. But my book, Professional Rails Testing, is in the number one spot for new releases in software development. So I'm pretty proud about that. It's also in the number four spot. So none of these
Good.
guys are in multiple spots. So
That
that's kind of neat.
is
Um,
there's a Kindle version. Maybe one's the Kindle, one's the
yeah, one's the
paperback.
Kindle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that the paperback is in the lead. It is nice that people are buying the hard copy. Actually, I have stats. It's about two-thirds of people buy the paperback, a third buy the Kindle version. Um,
We bought
okay.
5 of your paperback versions just today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for the team.
Well, thank you very much.
There you go. You can get an extra Coke after dinner tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, the royalties I get from Amazon are not as much as I had hoped. It's like 10 bucks a copy, something like that for the paperback. So not terrible, but for when I used to do it self-publish, I got 100% of the proceeds, but it's kind of a trade-off because I do have Amazon's distribution now, which is quite nice, obviously. Okay, so this is still going. Looks like it might be almost done. Um, but I have a production environment now for Saturn CI. I've been doing it locally for many months now, but I said, you know what? If this is going to be a real thing, then it's got to have a production environment, obviously. So app.saturnci.com. It has no, marketing site or anything like that. But it does have a production environment now. And what I'm doing right now is I'm in the midst of upgrading from Rails 7.1 to Rails 8.0. And the reason I'm deploying right now is because I just upgraded from 7.1 to 7.2, and I figured it's probably a good idea to deploy 7.2 to production before I proceed with Rails 8. And it looks like it might just be stuck at the very last push here, which is unfortunate. So maybe won't be able to do any of that stuff right now, but that's okay. Um, so I'm going to accept the risk that this deployment just might not happen right now. And I'll upgrade to Rails 8 and I'll deploy later after it's upgraded to Rails 8. And if it blows up, then I'll have to go back and dig a little more. But again, I'm willing to take that risk. Okay, so I'm going to go to my Rails 8 branch. And bundle install is successful here. But then if I try to run my tests, some bad things happen. Can't modify frozen array. Before I dig into this at all, I'll ask, does anybody happen to know? Do any of you guys happen to have a Rails 8 experience? Do you happen to know what this is all about? Okay. Okay. So this is an opportunity to share how I deal with these sorts of issues. First,
Hey, quick question, Jason.
yeah,
Where do I find this on GitHub?
great question. I just moved it um, from my personal account to I now have a SaturnCI organization on GitHub.
Oh, okay. I'll find it then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's public, but I assume it is. Yeah,
Looks like
it's
it.
public.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so just SaturnCI/SaturnCI on GitHub.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so for this, I don't know for an absolute fact that it's something due to Rails 8. It might just be a side effect of having upgraded to Rails 8. So the first thing I'm going to do in the spirit of conserving brain power is I'm just not even going to think about it. I'm just going to paste it into ChatGPT and see what I get. Okay, this doesn't really look helpful, so I'm not going to pursue that path anymore. I'll do it a different way. Um, I always tell people to close their tabs. I have a million tabs open right now. I'm going to close some of these. I do actually want some of those. Okay, so I have these release notes up. I didn't want to have to actually read the release notes, but now perhaps I will. Okay, major features. Okay, I'm not seeing like anything immediately that jumps out at me as something that's going to give me any kind of clue. So here's what I'll do instead. I'll just Google for Rails 8. Oh, looks like it did a minute ago. Rails 8 can't modify frozen array. Let's see what this is. This is quite old. This
This
is
is
not going to
not.
be Rails 8.
Yeah. And wasn't it having something to do with the error message mentioned environment?
Yeah, but if I go to that, I went to that a minute ago.
Well, I just mean as far as your Google search goes. Maybe it's
Oh yeah,
specific.
okay. Um, good thought. Yeah, looks like we get essentially the same stuff. So maybe what we can find is the specific array it's talking about. So it's talking about this array of file paths in this file here on line 580. Auto load once paths dot unshift. Okay, maybe this auto load once paths thing is a good clue. So let's do that. Auto load once paths can't modify frozen array. We'll check out this one even though it's Rails 7. Okay, and by the way, whenever I look at a Stack Overflow answer, I always scroll past the question because sometimes there's not even an answer. Most people like spend a lot of time reading the question, and frankly, it's frustrating because then they get down and like, oh, okay, what is this? Oh, there's nothing there, and then the whole thing is just a waste. But let's see what this says. August 28th. That is obviously relatively recently, a little over a year ago. Okay, I don't know if this is some kind of answer. Did you resolve this issue? If so, can you post your findings? Try booting the app from the engines directory with just Rails C. This should reveal the underlying error. I'm gonna do that just to see what happens. Okay, we get some errors. Okay, maybe this is a clue. Um, configuration 109, undefined method assets for an instance of Rails application configuration. Did you mean asset host? Okay. Huh. Um, I don't have anything to do with assets in here. Okay, so let's search for this error, which I realize probably has nothing to do with the error that we're just looking at, but we'll see if maybe this one is easier to deal with. And I'm going to close all these tabs except one, because I know that one will be kind of tedious to get back to. Oh, and I have a line break right here. Found the solution here. Make sure this line is here, this rail tie thing. Oh, okay. You need to add this to your gem file. Um, I think I actually know why this is. I removed sprockets because I thought I didn't need it, but maybe I do. Where was that? It was right below Puma. Okay, now the console works. What about RSpec? And while we're waiting for RSpec, let's check on our deployment. Okay, now maybe another layer is pushing. All right, we'll let that continue to do its thing. Okay, and we're getting some failures here. And we have a new deprecation warning. This shouldn't take much longer. Anybody hear any good jokes lately?
In config.application.rb, sometimes you can load defaults for a specific version
I think that
of
joke
Rails.
sucks.
Yeah.
I was trying to formulate a good comeback for that, but you beat me to a case.
Okay, sorry. In the config file,
Yeah, application.rb.
uh-huh.
Do you still have it set to Rails 7.1?
I have load defaults 7.0.
You know what the defaults in Rails 8 default to?
I do not.
I'd be curious.
Okay, well let me just real quick take a peek at whatever this is. Yikes. Okay, can't get up to the top of that. Spec API v1 job spec. Can you do head dash F the way you can tail dash F? No, you can't. Oh, but we can do less. Okay. Unexpected token. Interesting. Okay. Well, Nelson, you bring up a good point about the defaults. I'm gonna do something here. Um, since we are on 7.2, seems appropriate to change this to 7.2 because why would we not want them to match? Um, bundle is not the right thing. I'm going to do RSpec.
The deprecation warnings go away? Or is that here? Or is that
Well, I switched
just when
back
you
to the
ran it?
main branch. And so now we're back on Rails 7.2. So we're not getting the deprecation warnings that were coming from Rails 8.
Okay, so you adjusted the defaults, hoping that it fixes the failures.
No, I just adjusted the default um, to take out one more wildcard. Because it's like if we're going from I don't want to go from 7.2 to Rails 8, but then also have the defaults go from Rails 7.0 to Rails 8. That seems weird. Seems like I should go from 7.0 to 7.2 to Rails 8.
Yeah.
Okay, and has all my stuff been passing? Yes, it has. Okay. Um, now we go back. Okay, and we have this test failure. Oh, now that passes.
What changed here that made it
Oh, wait, wait,
pass?
wait. No, no, no. Sorry.
You just did the one.
Yeah, I forgot to do git stash pop. So I bet now it'll fail again. Yeah. Okay. Um, all right, I'm gonna search for this. Rails 8 expected token. Let's see like where this is coming from. Again, this might not be Rails 8 specific. It might be a side effect. Okay. Um, and which test was this? Oh, and I should make my font bigger for the video's sake.
Thank you.
Yeah. Job spec line 19. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is API v1 job path. Oh. And I'm so frustrated that my Vim config just mysteriously broke and my syntax highlighting doesn't work anymore. But I'll deal with that later. Okay, so I'm doing render JSON job.running, but are we hitting index or show? Looks like we're hitting show. Okay, so just out of curiosity, let's say I do render JSON like empty hash. Does that fail or pass? Or does it fail in a different way? Okay. Um, same issue. Okay, that's a bit surprising. Okay, let's see what this is. Exception caught. Maybe I'm totally barking up the wrong tree. Can't modify frozen hash. Okay, active model serializers, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Can't modify frozen hash. Okay. So what might this be? What frozen hash might we be talking about? I don't understand. How big is this? Pretty big. You know what? Let's do this. All right, so we can put the failure message in a file called failure.txt. And then here I can open failure.txt. And we can work with a smaller subset of this. Because I think this JSON parser error is actually just the symptom of a deeper problem. I think it's the symptom of this can't modify frozen hash thing. So let's grab this and we will give this to ChatGPT and then give ChatGPT this test and give it this controller and say, what's the deal with the can't modify frozen hash? And see if it has anything smart to say.
It's basically the same thing the last one said that you looked at,
Hmm.
but just stuff that doesn't seem to, the general stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I have an idea though. Um, what if in show we just say okay, this is annoying. I'm gonna switch back to cursor as an editor. Because I've gotten really used to the autocomplete. Here we go. Oh no. You've used up your free autocomplete requests. Okay, well, never mind. Okay, app API jobs controller. Okay, so I'm actually gonna blow away this stuff and I'm gonna say render, what was it? Nothing true. I think it was something like that. So I'm trying to like kind of determine where the issue is. Um, oh, and I don't want just the entire job spec. I want only the one on line 19.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, so it's still a 500 error, but a different one. What if I bring that stuff back? Okay. Still this. And what if I bring this stuff back? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm barking up the wrong tree. Um, Yeah, okay. Which one is it? Okay, so this is, yeah, it says line 19. Okay, but then if I run just the one at line 19, what do I get? I don't get the same thing. That's interesting. So what's the difference? No. I see something to do with WebMock. I don't know if that's a clue. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out these tests one by one and see which test is the real problem. First, I'm actually going to take out all but one of them. All right, so that one is fine.
So you're saying one of your tests has a side effect that's messing up the others.
I don't know. Okay, so when I brought back returns a list of jobs one, then there's a problem. What if I take out that original? Okay, so I've narrowed it down to this test here. Oh, and what if I take out this expect? Okay, if I take out the expect, there's still the problem. If I take this out, I'm guessing the problem will go away because it's not trying to, yeah, it's not trying to parse that bad body.
Um, does Rails use JBuilder in Rails 8 to parse JSON?
Oh, good
And if
question.
so, do maybe you can upgrade JBuilder to the latest version of that gem to parse your JSON for that, because it seems like that's what you're doing there.
Um, yeah, good point. Okay, so response.body is again this chunk of HTML here. Um, so does it use JBuilder to parse JSON is the question. Well, hang on though. Um, this JSON parse error again is a symptom, but the deeper problem is this can't modify frozen hash thing.
Right. So it's throwing this error and giving you HTML instead of JSON,
Right.
which the JSON parser pukes on.
And this active model serializers thing is maybe a clue. Okay. So this returns a list of jobs thing. I was focused before on show because I thought that's what was relevant, but I had it wrong because I was focused on the wrong test. What is really the problem is this index. So what if I do like render um, JSON and then empty hash for this one? Does it still fail? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's what I expected.
The
Okay,
job.running's not working.
yeah, there's something to do with it. I think maybe the serialization of job.running isn't working. Oops, I gotta not do less. Okay, this is okay, there we go. Okay, so job.running appears to be fine. Um, but it is the serialization, I think. Yeah, so I have this job serializer here. Um, and it's saying can't modify frozen hash. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say to ChatGPT, the problem seems to be with this serializer. See what it has to say about that. No, that seems incorrect.
Well, doesn't Rails 8 use solid cache and solid queue, and all those things are backed by SQLite now?
Mm.
Is there anything that are there any other dependencies that you need to install like SQLite for Rails 8 to run, or does Rails 8 is there like an installer for Rails 8 that does that for you automatically?
If there is, I haven't encountered it yet. I'm going to hold on to that thought. I just had another thought, which is that maybe my active model serializer gem is out of date and not compatible with Rails 8.
That's probably it. I had a couple of those when I was messing with the beta.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
you got the latest according to this documentation.
they would have really, I don't really understand it. If it's current to 7.2, why do you put the upper limit if like the next version doesn't even exist? I actually think that that's weird. It should just be like you update the gem in the future, and it puts a top number on it. You know what I mean? Like then it adds, oh, it's not good for 8. Or so what I had to do is I actually had to go into the gem and actually change the uh where it said that the version locked. It was locked to version like 5 to 7.2 or something like that.
I see.
I just took off the top.
Maybe I don't want this fucking gem. It seems problematic.
Scroll back up.
Cause like, yeah, it's been like this for so long. Like this weird problem with the 0.10 version. Almost none of the maintainers from 8, 9, or 10 are still working on AMS. All right, maybe the answer is to migrate from AMS to JBuilder. I shall do that.
It's got 34 pull requests. That's always a bad sign.
Well,
Oh.
in the list of files, nothing has changed in the last 7 years except for the README.
Probably adding names to the list of people who abandoned the project.
Or yeah, they're removing names, removing supporter names.
All right, so goodbye active model serializers. Again, I don't have JBuilder apparently. So I'll add that.
I don't even know if I've used that one before.
Okay. I don't know what this cannot wrap thing is, but I'll not deal with that right now. And I expect now if we run this job spec, it will fail because now I don't have that serializer anymore. Yep. Oh, luckily job serializer looks to be my one and only serializer. Um, build commit message. Okay. Um, let's go to ChatGPT again and say convert this to JBuilder. Exemplary use case for ChatGPT. And no, ChatGPT, I didn't need all that preamble.
Have you
Okay.
tried Anthropic yet? I think I brought it up last time.
Oh, not recently. I have been using, excuse me, Claude with Cursor though, and that's been nice.
Hmm.
App views jobs index. Okay. Here's a joke that I came up with. Um, I went on a date with a girl once. As we walked into the restaurant, I sneezed. I said, "Sorry, I'm allergic to beautiful women. There must be one around here somewhere." Okay, let's delete this. Okay, that didn't do what I wanted. There. Okay, now that's gone. Um, Now what happens if we run this test? Okay, still this. We need to find out how to modify the controller, perhaps. I try to be as I don't know what the word is, laconic perhaps as possible with my prompts.
Not trying
Um,
to steer the conversation.
yeah, yeah.
I find that uh, ChatGPT will let you do that, and you get into this cycle of off on a tangent somewhere that you didn't realize.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like for instance, I was trying to parse some Ruby code, and I mentioned about to ChatGPT using the Ruby parser gem, and so it started giving me all these details about how to do it. But it ended up that for my use case, like the Rubocop AST gem would have made my job like 10 times easier.
Oh,
And but I spent like several hours going down the Ruby parser rabbit hole, which is like a good gem, but and actually Rubocop AST builds on top of it. But like I said, for my use case, the Rubocop one was way better.
yeah, I've definitely found that you have to remain in the driver's seat. Like you can't just give yourself over to the AI. You still have to be the one making the
It
decisions.
Yeah, it's the one of the things you say to people who say, "Oh, AI is going to take over our jobs." It's like, well, not yet the way it is.
Yeah, right.
It's actually why I always tell people that juniors are going to get crushed by AI because we'll be like 10x more productive, but they're going to drown.
Yeah.
You tell me, look at how much code you're parsing, Jason. You tell me any junior developer can just hop in there and be like, "Oh yeah, this looks right." Copy and paste. Be like, that guy's got no idea why it doesn't work, how it doesn't work, what areas to look for. Like he's sunk. And
Right.
meanwhile, James is making 10 times or 5 times the money or 3 times the money, but doing 10 times the work. Like you just can't keep up.
Right. Yeah. I've said before, I don't know what the exact formula is, but it's like your productivity, AI takes your productivity, or sorry, it makes your productivity like your IQ squared or something like that. And like
Mm-hmm.
if you're already smart, it'll make you super smart, but if you're really dumb, it's going to help you create a giant mess way faster.
I
Um,
think it's it's always going to be problematic because essentially it's a natural language compiler, right? So you're going from human language to code, but it's non-deterministic. So each time you ask it a question and the way that you ask it a question, you're going to get different results, non-deterministic results, and each time they upgrade the model, you're gonna have different results. So at the end of the day, the ground is always going to be shifting underneath you in terms of like how you ask it questions and what you can expect from this tool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's totally right. Um, okay. I'm maybe not paying close enough attention or something. Missing template API v1 jobs index.
And the ChatGPT says, looks like you can't find the JBuilder template.
Okay, yeah, I put it in the wrong place. Um, yeah. Okay. API v1. Okay, jobs. But I need to create that folder. Okay, now what happens when we run this? Okay, we get something similar again. Undefined method, blah, blah, blah for nil. Okay, it's this JBuilder thing, line 9. Okay, job ID. Yeah, jobs. Okay, how would it go from jobs to jobs singular? That doesn't seem like it would connect. Oh, oh, okay,
You
look
got to
at
put it
this.
in the loop.
Yeah, I just
Maybe
like literally copy pasted what ChatGPT gave me. And
got
so,
to put it in the block. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I get,
That's literally what we were just talking about. That's so
right?
funny. like like right on the nose, eh? Like that's hilarious. Uh, right? And that's and actually ironically it actually proves the point about juniors more, not less. Because what are they like? What are they like? I think they're less likely to question the AI because the AI is right so often that
Yeah.
it creates it's like I don't know if any of you are using any of that sort of strong self-driving software from cars. Like it really makes you a bad driver fast.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. We've had our van with lane following and lane changing and everything for a month.
Hmm.
Yeah, skipping lots of little things because it does it for me.
Interesting. What kind
It's
of van
like
is it?
when you spend a lot of time driving a car with anti-lock brakes and then you drive a car without anti-lock brakes. Uh,
Yes.
it's a real eye opener when you have to slam on the brakes.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good
I'm
example.
just barely old enough to be able to identify with that.
That's okay, Jason. You live on a farm. There's no anti-lock brakes that'll save you from the kind of mud and everything that's on a farm. I'm sure you've hit the brakes and been like, I'm still sliding for 20 feet. Like I was going very slow, but the grass is so wet that you just keep peeling it up, right? And you just keep sliding.
That's true. I have gotten stuck in the snow on our property. Okay, migrate from ASM to JBuilder. Okay. And we'll see if that passes. Looks like this deployment finished, and looks like the world hasn't blown up. So that's great. So I'll go back to my Rails 8 branch, rebase on main, git stash pop. Oh, merge conflict. Okay.
And you just delete your gem file lock and bundle again.
Yeah. Well, does that work?
Or
Who
was
said
the
that? Was that
conflict?
you, James, who said that?
Yeah.
Wait, did you say? I'm so confused. Okay. Delete the gem file dot lock. First, I have to do this. Oh, deleted. Okay, great.
That will work, but the problem is that if you have other people on other architectures, like Mac and Windows and Linux, they also the gems sometimes include specific things for those architectures, and everybody else will also have to add
Totally good.
their changes to the gem file as well.
Oh, yeah, like this is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. There's like a number of them now. Okay, it kept this one, which is what I think I'm going to need for Docker, so I'm hoping that'll be good still. Okay, so I'm going to run the test suite now and see what happens. Okay, we got some deprecations. So far, so good. I don't know why I said that. Now it like jinxes it.
Watching the dots is why I ended up getting the foobar output. So it was like a percent
Oh,
versus.
interesting. Yeah, that would be. Oh, hey, look, it passed. We're on Rails 8, ladies and gentlemen. Um, or rather, we're on Rails 8, gentlemen. It's we're an all male cast on the show tonight. But dear audience on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Rails 8, that's great. Upgrade to Rails 8. Okay, and now we shall see if that passes on CI. And we might get to see a bug with SaturnCI in just a second. Sometimes it will show that the run failed, and then it'll show after that that it passed. But that is a bug that's assigned to my co-founder. I have a co-founder for SaturnCI. I haven't told anybody that yet, except my wife. But yeah, I'm the CEO. He's the CTO. Okay. But anyway, he's supposed to fix that bug, so I'm not gonna fix it.
You're not the CTO?
No, sir. I'm a businessman, Roger. Okay, so it looks as though this is stuck, but I don't know if that's actually the case. So yeah, it says it's failed, but if I refresh it, oh, it still says failed, even though nothing failed. So I don't think that failure message is legit. I'm going to rerun that one. Okay, and we'll let this Rails 8 one finish. And then let's see what I was going to do after that. Ah, yes. Action cable is broken in production. Um, Semi-broken, I should say. It's like half broken. I have to like refresh the page to keep seeing this log output, I think. Yeah, that's why we weren't seeing that test output flow the way it was supposed to. So action cable is broken in production, but I discovered that apparently there's been some work in Rails 8 done with action cable, and you can use so in development it works a certain way, and then in production it works differently. Um, you can't do it the same way in production as development, but you can use Redis or you can use PostgreSQL apparently. And from what I read, apparently Rails 8 does some stuff differently with all that. So I wanted to get upgraded to Rails 8 before I messed around with that. And I knew I wanted to upgrade to Rails 8 anyway. So I decided why not just take care of that first. Okay, the suspense is killing me. All right, but in the meantime, let's maybe find out about this Rails 8 action cable thing. Yeah, so when you Google Rails 8 action cable, this DB-backed action cable adapter as new default in Rails 8 thing comes up. But what I don't know is how to use it. Okay, happening here, and there's this pull request. Add solid cable. Okay. So this is merged, yes, but I don't know how to use it. All right, thanks for coming, Roger. See you later. Okay. Yeah, upgrade to Rails 8. It said failed, but I refreshed. It said passed. That's that bug that needs fixing. All right. So now that that's passing, we can turn our attention fully to the solid cable thing. And I'll take us a little ways down this road and then I'll wrap up because we're almost at the hour. Okay. So maybe we can get some clues from here. Oh, there's a solid cable thing in the gem file. So maybe that's just what we need. All right. And so also we can go to the solid cable gem. Database backed action cable adapter that keeps messages in a table and continuously polls for updates. That sounds great. All right, so I'm going to add the solid cable gem. First, merge this Rails 8 branch. Solid cable, where do I want to put it? I don't know. I guess I'll just put it like here. Okay. Solid cable install. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. And we have this DB cable schema thing. Okay. Interesting placement. Okay, if you're using SQLite, it'll look like this. Oh, you'll have to add it to the config database. Okay. Well, let's do that. All right, so what's different? There's this cable thing. All right, thanks for coming, Amr. Do I have that right, Amr? Amr. Yeah, thanks for coming. Hope to see you again.
Thanks again. Thanks.
Okay, this is interesting. Apparently uses a whole different database. I was not expecting that, and I don't find that particularly welcome. I wonder if it has to be like that. Single database configuration. Removes connects to in config cable. Okay. Okay. Cable schema. So I'll do this. Rails G migration cable schema. Okay. Rails DB migrate. Did not work. An alias reference an unknown anchor production. Okay. Maybe that's this. Um,
I think you have to give production a ampersand production after it, like you did with
oh,
default.
wait, sorry, what do I have to do?
See what you did for online one with
Oh,
default.
default and default, production and production, like that?
I think so.
Okay. And the migrations paths, I assume I get rid of that. And database, I assume we just take that away. Okay. Okay, I'll be surprised if this actually works. I'm going to do it on a separate branch. Solid cable. And in order to actually test this, I'll have to deploy it to production, which, as I shared earlier, doesn't usually work on Zoom calls. So we'll have to pick that up next time. But before we do, okay, everything so far is passing. All right, so
You're leaving it on a cliffhanger.
yep, but at least we upgraded to Rails 8. That's something, just on one single call's length, we upgraded to Rails 8. I feel good about that. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Later.